Righteous Gemstones, wrapping up with season 4. I got to talk to the cast. They're all very excited. I tried to get them emotional. They wouldn't go there with me, but the season is incredible. I got to see it in advance. You're going to love it. Check out these interviews. Hi, y'all. So lovely to meet you. I know this is a marathon day, so
we've been waiting for this moment.
You saw my shirt outside.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this guy.
This was the one.
So obviously the show has like a rabid fan base. So have you gotten any strange reactions to this being the last season? Are people like fighting you in bars and whatnot?
Yeah, I've gotten a few fist fights.
Been attacked multiple times.
Yep.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, it feels, it's nice to have, to work so hard on something and have people appreciate it. And it is a good feeling to know that people like this enough that they would be sad about it not coming back. But hopefully they'll appreciate where it goes and feel satisfied when it all wraps up.
Yeah.
Love that. I mean, a lot of pressure, obviously. Not a question, but I'm like, a lot of pressure. And then sort of following that, so the show is really successful. I mean, it's a really crowded market. You know, there's a lot of stuff to watch all the time. What do you think about this show has made it so successful where you can end on your own terms, you know?
You know, I don't know. I think you're totally right. It is very crowded. I think that there's something still to be said for that appointment viewing that HBO does, you know, that like these things still come out on Sunday night and people have to, you know, even though everyone doesn't watch it that weekly, a lot of people wait till shows are done and watch it together. But there is something fun about having that communal experience where you're watching something and you're hypothesizing with other fans on in between the episodes and figuring it out. It's like, you know, I appreciate streaming. I like it. I love like binging shows. I like it all. But I do think something's lost in that. You know, there is this element of feeling like you need to watch something because you don't want it to be ruined for you, or there's that person at work that you want to like talk about what happened last night, and that's important. Like that's an important part of what we do, and I think that when it goes away, it's I think all of it matters a little less.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you for sharing the episodes with us because I feel like a god now.
You know.
Man. Cassidy, so coming into this season, I guess what were your thoughts? Because I don't know how the scripts are revealed to you guys over time, but what were your thoughts on your character's arc over the season? Because you know you got to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, we get this. We get the episodes before we start shooting, most of them anyway, and then you know they continue to sort of change and morph throughout the season as to like what we need or what's available. And, you know, what I love about Amber is that she continues to become more and more the matriarch. You know, I think there was some discord at the beginning of the series between, like, where she fit and how people felt about her with all the partners. And it's cool to see her and the partners sort of gel and find their place in the family, in, like, the newness of that family. And I thought the prayer pods were hilarious and really enjoyed it.
It should have worked. It should have worked.
I think it did work. I think people are disgusting.
Yeah.
I
think so too.
Yeah.
That's the quote. People are disgusting.
People are disgusting. That's right.
Okay, so we learned a lot about the history of the family going into this, or the first episode of this season. So my question is, would you ever participate in like a prequel or a sequel to the show? Would you ever create that?
You know what? If there's ever another version of the show, what I've imagined would be kind of fun is a live show, a traveling Gemstone tent revival.
Love that.
That's right.
Yeah. So I guess that would be a sequel.
Yep. Yeah.
A live experience.
Are you in?
Experience. Very in.
Love
very,
that.
very in.
Okay,
yeah.
sick.
Yeah. Everyone on this show is weirdly talented in ways that I think would translate to stage.
They're all song and dance people.
Yes.
Everyone is.
Everyone is a song and dance person.
I love that.
Yeah.
And well, you know, you hear that a lot of this show is improvised. I mean, I'm sure it's a question you get all the time. What percentage of it are you just like riffing?
You know, we don't ever discourage anyone from riffing by any means. It's like I don't feel like when we write these scripts, I don't feel like it's something where like everything is exact. I think it's like trusting people to have their own take and spin on it. I would say like out of the other shows I've done, this is probably improv like the least, but it's I think just because how many spinning plates there are, that pace and quickness and stuff all becomes a part of it. But anytime the whole family's together, whether it's a church lunch or there, it would be such a travesty to not let these talented people just rip it wide open. And so I'd say a lot of that, you know, people are, you know, encouraged to do it as much as they want.
That's kind of the cool part about watching it too. Afterwards, you go like, "Ooh, what made it?
Yeah.
What made the cut?" And then you're like, "That made it! Yeah,
amazing."
Yes.
There's so many like Edie jokes about vagina that I'm always like, is she making these up?
That woman is
Fit
chock
slits.
full.
Yeah.
I know, it kills me. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And so we see younger versions of y'all this season. So I guess this is kind of improv. Who would you want to play you in an older version of you? Who would be the older version?
Oh, God.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal.
God dang. Okay.
Gosh, who would you have play you?
I don't know. I think Sybil Shepherd would do it.
Oh,
good.
yeah.
That's fantastic. I don't know.
I know it's tough on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know who would.
Who would play older you?
I already
could be
play
John
so
Goodman.
old anyway.
You don't.
We gotta like
Well, if
Wilford
Walton-
Brimley.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it. I can do it. Right?
I feel like if John wasn't on the show, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be able to work.
I would be honored. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously he's not here today. Do you have any like sort of favorite memories? Not that he's passed, but like any sort of
God.
favorite memories of working with him?
You know, it was such an honor and just so incredible to work with him. I grew up watching his movies and honestly like loving his choices that he could go from TV to working with the Coen brothers. He's, you know, I've always thought he was awesome. And so the idea that we got to work with him and he brought his game to this was awesome. And, you know, I remember like when we were shooting on the first season, I think he was like nervous about the fact that we improv and stuff like that. He wasn't like necessarily like wanting to do that or comfort with it. And it was awesome to see with each season him get more comfort with it to the point that like he threw some shit in this season that like crushed me. Like in the last episode with the duel, you know, all this weird hand stuff that those guys do. Like, he made that up. He suggested that, and I was like, "Yeah, we got to do that."
Yeah.
Like
So good.
he's awesome, and like what he laughs at makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like it was just awesome. Honestly, it was like part of what made me really sad when it was done is that I just really appreciated the time I got to spend with him.
Yeah. And do you have like an outtakes reel? Because I would love to have that of John Goodman
They're good.
just
yeah.
riffing.
I love that how all the physical things that he did, he really went for it. Like he did not hold back at all.
No, we were making him fight people and get
Yeah.
shot and doing all this
Getting
stuff.
in the
like-
ocean, getting swept away. Like
He actually didn't make him fight people. He
you
just
know,
did that.
His wife Annabeth was always just like, "Don't kill him." It's
Yeah.
like I will try not to.
We all had our eyes out for
I
John.
love that. And then, so obviously your characters are together all the time. What are some of the things you'll miss about working together?
Oh man.
I know.
Oh,
I
God.
know.
What will we miss?
So sorry.
I don't know.
I just feel like it was just such a pleasure. Like every time I would, this cast is so stacked with just awesome people that,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you can be on a project and when you like look at the call sheet, you're just like, oh shit, I gotta be with this person today.
Danny
and this
DeVito.
is not
Yeah.
one of those. You know, like anytime you see a scene with any of these people in it, it just always would be exciting to see them and catch up. And you know, I live in Charleston, South Carolina, where we shoot the show, and so there is this energy too that like you live there, and then the circus comes to town for like 6 months, where all your friends are showing up and
Yeah.
everyone's getting to hang out, and it's exciting. And then when they leave, it's sad. It makes me, you kind of
Yeah.
like go to the old spots. Oh, I remember this is where Cassidy we used to hang out. So
Something I liked about. Sorry to cut. Did I cut you off?
no, go for it.
Something
was
I liked
rambling.
about when we worked together is that I felt like Danny. You're Danny. I felt like Jesse. Sorry, there's been confusion today. I feel like Jesse kind of gets to let his guard down a little bit with Amber. Like those are the moments that he reflects or he's honest about if he's hurt or he's vulnerable or something bothered him. And I feel like he's not like that with other characters. And so I liked creatively to see Danny get to play those parts when he sort of got to go inward or ask for help. That felt special to
Okay.
me. Yeah.
I love that.
I never
Everyone-
show weakness.
Okay.
How cool of you to notice that.
Until just now.
No.
And I guess we'll close on, because you talked about the call sheet. So the guest stars. So is there anybody who didn't make it, like somebody who you were in talks with or something like that, who didn't get to join the show?
You know what? Everybody we went after, we got.
That's right.
I mean, obviously, if the show went on, there's a pool of people I'd love to see involved in this thing. But we'll just save those people for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were really lucky with who we got to show up on this show. I appreciate everybody who did.
Seriously, as a big Eric Andre guy.
Oh, man.
That was like
Oh
incredible.
yeah.
So much fun
Oh
to have him
god.
down
Yeah,
there.
and everyone was stoked too.
Yeah.
They really came in ready to rumble.
I love that.
Just fun.
Last season, are people pissed at you? Are people upset? Are people screaming and crying in your DMs about the fact that this is the last season?
Yeah, there's a lot of people a little upset, but I think when they see it, they're going to be like, dang, they stuck the landing, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really funny because there's a lot of people that I got the response, it's coming back, because
Yeah.
that third season landed so awesome that I feel like 50% of people I talk to are just like, that's so amazing, I can't wait. And I'm just like, well, wait till this new season.
Well, that was
comes
the
out, you know?
issue, and I think maybe we could have done more seasons if the pandemic didn't hit, the strike didn't hit, and it sort of made the in-between time so long. And for any show, that's hard to, to keep an audience going.
Yeah.
But I think we've done a pretty damn good job at it.
Season 2 was the pandemic season, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, here we are, half a decade later.
Yeah, for real.
man.
Okay, so just going into the season, what was your response to your character arc? How much did you know about what was going to happen to you going into the season?
Nothing really.
I didn't know anything
I mean,
until that first few scripts popped in my
Okay.
and then
inbox.
he didn't even tell us what was going to happen between our characters until we got those last scripts. He was such a coy little dog.
I got like one little nudge from someone who was like, "Hey, have they gotten your ring size yet?" And I was like, "Wait, for what?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, I meant cock ring.
Oh, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"No, you
Oh, I
guys
have
had
that.
since season
Yeah.
one."
I got that one, yeah.
I was locked up to electrodes, dude. I was in the baby tank.
Yeah. You remember you walked in, they were like, you die the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit,
okay,
dude.
sick.
Was The Walking Dead?
Yeah. So we kind of talked about, the fact that this show's been on, through tough times. What do you think has made it last? Because, it's a tough market out here. There's a lot of stuff to watch.
I think it's just so good, and I think Danny has such a built-in fan base with his fans, and I think there's so much to it's so rich that once you do get into the show, you're hooked. Like I've yet to meet a person that watched 2 episodes and then didn't want to watch the rest of the show.
I think in a TV world that we live in right now, where people are kind of questioning whether or not comedies are actual comedies, this is just a real comedy that people love to laugh, and so it's like, let's bring a real comedy back as long as we can.
Edie highlighted the two of you as like the improvisers. Like I know a lot of people do. Is that a title you accept? As like,
Sure, I'm Colin Mockery.
Oh yeah, and I'm
Are you Wayne?
Jeff Probst.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were gonna go Wayne Brady.
I know.
Wayne Brady.
Should have gone Wayne
Wayne Brady.
Oh,
Wayne
he's
Brady.
Wayne Brady.
genius.
Yeah.
Yes, serious.
Yeah, no, I'll take that. I mean, Edie improvs a lot herself.
I mean, she's still on a weekly show at the Groundlings.
Yeah,
if
she
you get a chance,
will
go
not
Wow, I
every
didn't know that.
Thursday night. She's there.
But yeah, what's nice is when we do scenes together, a lot of times it's just the two of us, so it's way easier. It's hard to improv in a scene where there's like 10 people, because then if you're the guy who's just going off script,
You're screwing
everyone else up. But when it's the two of us, we can handle it.
Yeah. Okay. So the first episode of this season starts with some history of the family, that kind of thing. Would you ever participate? You know how Game of Thrones has their little prequel series, their prequel series. Would you ever participate in like a future, like a post-quel kind of thing for this show, 15 years down the road?
The post-quel. I mean, yeah, that'd be fun. Mm-hmm. He still has his faux hawk, but now it's fully white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so in. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
or it's gone bald here, but he's somehow still making it work.
Keith has the mullet, but just the bald patch.
With the bald. Yeah. No, these guys are going to Turkey. Yeah,
Oh, they're
100%.
They're all
Turkey.
they're all
Yeah, they're for
oh yeah,
sure.
yeah. We're Siegfried
Yeah,
and Roy now.
Botox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually make social media videos for a hair transplant doctor.
Oh.
So once I go off airplane mode, ball guys. That's a true story. Ding, 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 ding. And so,
That
John.
was my biggest fear when I cut my hair.
Yeah.
Is that I was going to have very thin hair in the front.
Yeah.
Because I had long hair for 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
so
looking great,
much-
buddy.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, it looks thick.
It's
looks
so
full.
thick, dude. Turkey's just a flight away. So.
This is the headlines I keep thinking of. It's so thick, dude. Tony.
I love those videos of people coming back from the Turkey dough, and it's just like every dude just has bandages on their head,
Yeah.
like 100% of
They're
that
way
flight.
too straight. Their lines
Yeah.
are way too low
Yeah.
and way too straight.
I love that. So speaking of prequel post, who would you just off top, first thing you think, who would you want to play you as an old person? Because we see like a young version of you.
Yeah, you know, if Wahlberg wanted to dip back into comedy, I feel like he would be the perfect physical embodiment of Kelvin.
Yeah.
You know, don't you see that for Kelvin?
I do see that.
Yeah.
I sometimes get this comparison. I only think because I have a gap in my teeth, but I get Willem Dafoe sometimes. So I think a Willem Dafoe would be great.
Willem and Mark together.
Yeah. Or if, I mean, obviously R.I.P., but like Philip Seymour Hoffman. His character in Boogie Nights, I feel like screams Keith.
Oh, absolutely. You know? Or just for another one for Kelvin, or for myself, Judy Dench.
Oh.
Dame
Judy.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
feel like
I got to say, Mark Wahlberg was one of the most interesting interviews I ever did. I had 1 minute. He answered everything in one word. It was like 6 a.m. Yes. No. It was thrilling. I was like, this is insane. John's not here today participating in this. So I'm just kind of. Do you have any sort of things to share about John, like fun moments that you can think of off top that are really cool?
He's such a legend, man, and he's the best. He's just a great guy, and we've got to meet his whole family and his wife, Annabeth, and it's been cool to get close to a true living legend. Before we even started the show, I have a mutual friend that is friends with John, and he was like, you know what you should do? You should do a show or a movie where John Goodman plays your dad. I could see that. And I'm like, sure, dude, make that call, make that happen. And 2 months later, I get offered this, and it was before John was attached. And then like a few weeks after I was attached, Danny calls me and he's like, "Hey, John Goodman's gonna play your dad," and it was just so kismet, man. It was so cool to have him.
Yeah. I gotta make another wish.
Yeah.
He's a special dude, man. I mean, I remember when we were shooting the pilot, and Danny is so great at like doing group activities. And like the first week we were there, we went bowling with John Goodman, and I'm just dude, I'm fucking bowling with John Goodman right now.
Yeah, that was sick. I remember.
That was so insane.
Lebowski, right? Does he do in Big Lebowski? Doesn't he do that?
Oh yeah,
that's Jesus, but
okay.
Oh, that's right. Yes. John Turturro.
Yeah, John Turturro.
That's my time.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for having me, you guys. Appreciate it. With this being the final season, what have been some fan reactions? Do people like DM you guys? Do they come to your house, beg?
I get DM'd stuff, and talk to people on the street. Like, what are their reactions to the show as a whole?
No, to the end, to the fact that it's ending.
Oh, they're not stoked.
No, they're sad.
Yeah.
They're very sad.
They're stoked a season is coming out, and then they're very mad that it's ending.
I love that. Amazing. Yeah. But do they actually show up in your DMs or no?
Yeah.
Do you read your DMs?
And on comments. I do, and then I'll forget for a long time, and then I do, and then I'll forget for a long time. Yeah.
I've restricted so many old friends too that I'm like, I know it's going to my hidden folder. You know, like, am I getting threatened by like someone I went to junior high with? Let me check.
Wait, really?
No.
Oh, it's like what? Okay, that's good. So going into the season, obviously, you got to wrap it up. A lot of like loose ends and whatnot. I guess what were your thoughts about what you knew of your character's arc going into the season? Like, I guess, were you worried that it, I guess wouldn't wrap up neatly? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I knew it would wrap up neatly. I'm one of the writers on the show, so I've been in the writing from the beginning, and I know that one of Danny's goals with every season has been to sort of wrap it up and put a pussy bow on it.
Hey.
So yeah, I knew this season would wrap up in a cool way. I didn't know that it would be the finale season, but I think we did stick the landing. I think he had great ideas for how to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it works. I'm really happy with how it came out.
Yeah, I was telling them in the other room, I feel very lucky because they give us all the episodes.
Great.
So I'm like a god now.
That's awesome.
I'm floating through the Beverly Hilton. So what do you think has allowed the show to get to where it is? Because that's obviously a very crowded market out here, both streaming and just like cable and whatnot. What do you think really works about the show?
I think it's legitimately hard funny, and I don't think there's a ton of stuff that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it catches people off guard, and then it's got actual heart and actual drama and actual action, and every episode looks like a friggin' movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we're going hard in a way that a lot of shows maybe aren't, and not a diss, but just saying, like, if people really want to laugh, I think they know they can count on watching the Gemstones.
It is a diss, though. Let's be honest.
Well, it bucks the trend. Like, it's not going for the cadence of laughs. It's going for actual laughs. And I think a lot of comedies are they're dramedies. You know, that's just what's trending, and that's totally fine. But it's not going to make you gut laugh, and Gemstones does, and it happens to pair some of the most experienced comedy directors and writers, and they cast it the way that they knew they should in order to achieve what they want. And so it's a blessing to be a part of something like that. It's just rare.
Yeah.
We came up in comedy institutions, and when you do, you have a list of like all the best shows ever, and then you get into the real world of like auditioning for stuff, and you're like, oh, these are all rare things that I love that are on my Mount Rushmore,
Yeah, I guess speaking of like comedians, legendary comedians, improvisation, obviously people ask you this all the time, I'm sure, like how much of this is improv? And I got an answer in the other room, but I wanted to know specifically about your improvisation. Is it improvisation you're coming up with these puns for vagina? Are you writing these?
Both things. Like a lot of times I have probably stared at my laptop for too long thinking, what's a different way to say this?
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a percentage where we play around for sure, and certain places, and if you're in a scene with certain people. If I'm doing a scene with Tim, I know we're going to get everything as written, and then there'll be a point where we play with it, and new things start to exist. Or like if I'm doing a scene with Danny and Adam, I know it's going to get loose, and we're going to start fucking around and finding things. Or one of our church lunches. Always we know that's going to start to morph. All the all the Prince Eric stuff, the fuck Mickey, all that stuff from that season. I think it was season 3 when we got married by Prince Eric and they were making fun of us. Huge chunk of that was improvised. And it was off of Tim saying that Prince Eric was the hottest guy in the Disney catalog. And then we just
not
launched.
debatable.
I agree. It's not debatable.
Okay, so the first episode of this season is, obviously we go back in time. I don't know what year that was, but not a good year for America.
True that.
But it got me thinking about, like Game of Thrones has a big prequel series. Would you ever sort of participate in like a big prequel or a series 15 years from now of this kind of show? What do you think it would look like?
Yeah, I mean, if it's Danny asking me to do it, yes. I mean, I don't even know what it would be, but I know it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you have any so John's not here, obviously, but do you have any fun stories about John, or just like things to share about him generally?
Wow, I don't know if you've gleaned this, but we're all kind of obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
The world is.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
I mean, it started with Roseanne. He's like our actual father.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
feel like. Yeah.
I'm from Illinois too, so
Oh,
I
me
definitely
too.
felt that. Really? Where?
Yeah, Chicago.
Oh, okay, Joliet.
Hey, Joliet.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Uh-oh.
This is the war.
Yeah, you could have said Joylet.
Joliet.
So Joliet's fine.
Dang,
Anything
can
to...
you think of a good John story?
What's a good one? I mean, he's just very, he gives every take 100%, and I think, I don't want to say that's rare in this cast. I feel like we all are giving 100%, but he, the depth and experience and like wisdom and talent that he's bringing to every take is kind of astounding. Like, he just sets a bar that he has expectations for himself, and that's pretty incredible. And he's game too. We've talked about that. Like, there was one scene where I was like I have a scene with him in season 2, I think, where I go talk to him and kind of apologize on Judy's behalf and say, like, you know, it's just, it comes from a place of hurt inside her. And then he shakes my hand, and it's this big, meaningful moment. And then afterwards, I was supposed to go, like, cry in my car. I think that got cut. But we were filming that later. And so I asked John, I was like, hey, could we just get a picture of us shaking hands just so I have that visual? So if I, like, need it for whatever. And he was like, yeah, of course. Good idea. And, like, took a picture with me, you know, and I have all these pictures in my phone of me and John shaking hands, and then cried in a hot car, and it got cut.
Yeah. When we were doing, I think, the pilot, me and Tim and Cass took him to dinner. And I had just assumed that on, like, Coen Brothers movies that they were doing a ton of improvising. And then I assumed if that wasn't the case, that he was from a background of improv. And I asked him, and he had never in his life done any sort of improv. And just the way he adapted to being around all us freaks, it was pretty mind-blowing to me that he could drop in and just be, like, in the character of Eli and say some stuff that's not on the page. And, like, I thought that was pretty extraordinary.
I love that.
Yeah.
So now he's at Second City. He's starting a new journey. The last chapter of his life.
Yeah.
That was dark. Thanks so much, y'all. Appreciate it.
Take care.